Oh, I lost my attendees again. Flipping hell. So I have no idea who's here because I can't see it.
Want me to write off the names for you?
Why am I not typing? Okay, oh my gracious. I think I'm going to continue to drag my computer in here. Oh, right. But we don't need it today. Kim, I'll get you to write down who's here for me and then just send me a quick email after because we track it. If that's okay?
That's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Google to remember. Okay, welcome everybody. Happy Monday morning. So what I wanted to do today is to sort of move into the next section. Now, last meeting we had talked about time tracking and blocking your time, and a bunch of you were going to start doing that. I'm not sure if anybody has done that yet or not. So just wanted to get feedback from anybody that may have done it. Anybody?
I know I didn't.
You're sorry, what?
No, I know I didn't. I didn't know, like I had to leave it a bit early. I didn't know we had to do it.
Okay, that's no worries. So
Yeah.
we had talked about sort of a challenge.
I don't want a record of how much time I'm missing.
When you say missing,
Oh, yeah.
what do you mean by that?
Oh, missing, I guess, wasting.
Okay. But you know what? It's not a judgment, Kelly. It's a learning curve, right?
Oh, I know. I'm judging myself. I've been lazy.
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes it's looking at it to see what are you actually doing and when are you doing it, so that you can actually improve it. Because one of the biggest things that's frustrating for new realtors, well, and not just new realtors, I can honestly tell you it's every realtor, is, you know, once you're going and then at the end of the day going, what did I actually do, right? Like,
Yeah.
And why don't I have a new appointment? So I felt like I worked all week, but I don't have a new appointment, or I don't have any buyers in the pipe, or I don't have any listing appointments. Somebody's car is binging. I'm not sure who that is. So when you're doing this exercise, what starts to happen is you start to get a feeling for, you know, how long you spend doing certain things that, and things that you thought you might have been doing in a week, but didn't actually happen. I can say that personally, I don't know where my days go half the time, and I lose track of my weeks. I think one of the dangers for all of us is because this is not a Monday, Friday, 9 to 5 world, that you can very easily lose track of how long it is between things. Okay? And that's the other piece, is to create that regularity, because one of the biggest keys to being successful is the consistency. The agents that are the most productive are the ones that consistently do certain activities. And when you track your time, you may find that you are working in fits and starts, for lack of a better analogy, that you're very gung-ho about a particular thing for 2 days, and then you don't do it again, and you do it 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, but in your brain you felt like you just did it. But when you go back and look at your time, you realize that it's been a lot longer than you thought. So that's the other piece of it, is if you have specific plans and times that you want to be doing things, and honestly, the times are less relevant in terms of ideal times than actually getting the task done, because you obviously have no chance of getting results if you don't do it at all. If you do it at a less productive time, it may not give you the full results, but at least you're further out the door than you were previously. So with that, I think we've talked about that, you know, quite a bit, and I think you guys know sort of where we're at with that. So let's move on to sort of the second phase. I'm actually not 100% positive which one. I'm going to assume the managing the two businesses is. Does anybody know, is managing your business? That's the second one, I'm assuming.
So no.
It doesn't matter. I'm going to move on to developing your clientele, because you guys are, we have really good regulatory training. It's not to say we're not going to focus on that, but I'd like to focus on some income producing activities for you.
Good.
Okay, Leanne, let me know how you make out. I'd like to focus on some income producing activities for you guys, if you guys are okay with that. So in this module, again, I always recommend that we start by going to the course resources. So if you haven't paid for this course yet, then this will be new material, and I will get it sent out to you. So I do not know what it just did to me. Bear with me. Oh, it downloaded it. Sorry, I'm not used to this computer.
Are you doing the manage your business legal regulatory? Is that the one?
No, I'm doing develop your clientele.
Okay. Sorry, I was writing down everybody's name. Okay.
Perfect, Leanne. Welcome back. Okay, so this is the competencies. I'm hoping everybody can see this.
Yeah.
That the goal is that people have after working through the, I have no idea how to zoom this in. I'm sure somebody else does, but it's zoom. Oh, good gracious. I apologize to all of you watching me trying to use the other one. Okay, so when we're looking at this, in the developing your clientele, the idea behind this is to really start working on the prospecting, self-promotion, getting yourself ready to go. So this is a perfect module to blend in with the KW systems. So I can't remember what day it is this week. I'm sure it's this week that Erin is teaching the KW basics, and that's a tech course that we're offering to make sure that everybody, and it's a refresher for anybody that's already got it, on making sure you really know how to manipulate through KW University, how to use eEdge, how to use, where do your listings go, what are the KW tools that are available for you. So we're going to look at a couple of those today. But if we look at the idea here, this is really looking at, if we look at the first modules that we went through, the first module section that we went through together, that was really about getting yourself set up, your HST, starting to track your time, building your business plan, getting your budget set, really getting the foundations ready. And now the goal is to work on, okay, that's all great. Now let's talk to a live human about doing some real estate business. So can different ones of you chime in with, I would say, what would be your top prospecting or client development activity to get a feel for what everybody's doing?
Mine's referrals.
Okay.
From friends or ex-colleagues in that, and Facebook.
Okay, so how are you connecting with those referrals, Kim? Like where, like, are you following up? Are you, like, how is this happening?
I don't let nothing go, so trust me on that. So I contact people through Facebook. I always keep in touch with my people through Facebook. Hi, how are you? Make a comment on Facebook, something when they're saying something nice, congratulations, whatever.
Right.
And I inbox them, and I make, sometimes for my old Xerox people, I arrange lunches for us all to get together, just to reunite. And then I also, yeah, and then I also walk around in my neighborhood and do that too.
So you're doing a combination of different activities, but all focused on the same group of people. Is that correct?
Similar, yes. Mostly friends, but I'm trying to expand. Now I'm going to be focusing on 2 different areas over the next little while when I get better.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Anybody else?
For me, Facebook is definitely a place where I, generate a lot of my leads. I go and purposefully use, that I'm sharing, get a lot of attention. And, when I was out to dinner this weekend with a group of like 40 people, and in that room they were like, "My God, you're selling houses." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm doing really good, right?" And so they're seeing this, right? And so I've been getting a lot of referrals just from working through my people.
That's awesome.
And then just asking, and then of course the open houses, but I don't find they're as successful, but they make my sellers happy. So
yeah, so let's come back to open houses for a second. Matthew had just typed in, but it showed up and then it went away. I think he said something about being visible in the community and following up with existing and past clients. Is that correct, Matthew? Yes, okay. I did see it flash up. It flashes up on me, as you guys can see, because you can all see my screen, and then it disappears, so I had to try and retain that in my little pea brain as to what I just saw. So that's fantastic. Following up with chats from the community, awesome. Anybody else have anything else that they want to share?
I got a client in Giant Tiger who won a Canadian Tire in the lineup.
And you know what? It's funny you say that, Kim, because sometimes when we're out, we hide. And there's, little things like wearing your realtor pin or wearing your KW pin or, making a comment or just generally engaging in conversation, right? Always be on, says Matthew, and have cards with you. It's true. It's, there's tricks. I mean, this sounds really silly, but it's one of these things that I can remember years and years ago in a sales course that a guy I knew, he used to specifically wear his name tag upside down because somebody will mention it or come up to them and have to fix it, especially women, right? Who you'll be standing in line and some woman will fix the tag on your shirt because it'll just make them mental. It's a funny little thing, or you wear your realtor pin, or these are just ways to kind of put you in mode when you're out and about. She's turning herself upside down now. There's, you're at, how many times have you guys gone to like a meet and greet and, you think, oh, I don't know anybody, and so you kind of stand to the side. And it's really hard, and it's a really big skill set for some people to, introduce themselves to other people or jump into conversations with people they don't know, and not everybody is comfortable with that. So, it's finding a way that works for you. Janice Ching, so far it's been family and friends that I have as clients. You flashed away too fast there. I have something. I agree with me something. I didn't hear the rest of it. I don't know if you can repost your same thing. I don't know how to get it to show up.
Let me read it too.
Yeah, I don't know what. Can you guys see?
I can.
You can see everybody's chats.
Yeah.
Do not get it.
Not that everybody's saying yes, it's all gone. Hang on.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's got something to do with the, this is a new computer, so I apologize. Click on chat. I am clicking on chat. That's within my skill set, but it will not.
Can you guys talk or speak, or do you guys have any mics with you?
Don't.
I can speak.
I don't know why I can't see them all when they disappear. And Erin and I have been clicking and working, and we can't get them to show up. So we'll get that fixed for next week. But anyway, so if we look through the competencies here, develops prospecting function based on knowledge of personal strengths and weaknesses and an understanding of what skills and qualities might attract clients and inspire their confidence. Wow, that's a really wordy paragraph. Anyway, the gist of that is looking at, working on your strengths. So Kim would talk to a tree if there was a chance that it would talk back. I don't know that everybody else will do that necessarily. So it's finding the area that you're comfortable with and working with that. And if it's something where you have a group of people and you're not sure what to do or how to engage with them, it's reaching out to people within the office or myself or Linda or someone else that can help you develop that. Developing a personal strategy to differentiate them from their competition. So this is a really hard one. And I tease about this all the time when I'm sitting with sellers, and I make a choice personally as an agent to not list my listings in the Chronicle Herald, because I don't believe that there's anything that I can write in the 3 lines they give me about my house that's going to make it stand out when I can do a virtual tour or a video or a web chat, or post it and do that. I would rather focus that way. But that's my personal choice to do that. But it's the same thing when you're trying to write your spiel or your value proposition. How do you make yourself sound different and engaging from the other 1,600 realtors that are in this province? So I'd like you guys to give me some ideas of things that you've done to distinguish yourselves, and then I'll give you some suggestions just based on experience of what I've seen some of you amazing people do that might trigger some ideas for yourselves. Anybody? Feedback sheet with comments from past clients, says Matthew. That's fantastic. Anybody else?
I just use the bold stuff. I'm just waiting for other people to talk. I don't want to dominate here. Come on, people, speak up.
Okay, well, the bold stuff is great. Not everybody's taken bold, so that's one thing.
Well, you know what I tell them? That my friends and people that hire me know I'm a hard worker. That's just the bottom line. But I tell them that, like I use the stuff I learned from Bold. I think a lot of people, I call it set it and forget it realtors. That's what I tell them. I said they'll set your sign up and they'll list it and they walk away and hope that I sell your house. But that's not always going to happen. I'm not a set it and forget it. I said I work. I go out. I talk to people daily about real estate. When stuff comes up, I always tell them about my listings. I put it across Facebook, Kijiji, everywhere else. I tell them what I do. And I said, I'm always networking. How did you think you found out about me? If they don't know me, or you know me, you see me doing it all the time. Why would you not want me to advertise your place?
Well, and I think the thing is identifying, as you say, Kim, what you are actually doing. So if you look at, what is your individual value proposition? For some of you, you're much newer in the game, because Kim, you're getting to the I'm almost a vet stage, where like in some cases, there's people on this call who haven't done a deal yet, or they've only done 1 or 2. So then you're thinking, okay, well, what am I supposed to say? Because I don't have X amount of years of track record. But I guarantee you that every single one of you have a skill and various skills that you have brought from other things you've done in your life that you can bring to the table, that you will carry into your real estate career. So, maybe you were in charge of a group of people in your past life, and so you have, you're really great at working with your peers and delegating and doing, I don't know, like there's things that you have that aren't necessarily real estate related that you will be bringing into your real estate career that can distinguish you. Do you, and actually looking at what your skill sets are to give you. The other thing you can also do when you're newer in the industry is use the royal we.
Yes.
So we have to be careful because we are a designated agency, but there are things that you can say that at KW we do X. At KW we are committed to X, right? Leanne says, working with a lot of military doing relocations. I lost it. Husband's military. I'm assuming that means that there's connections coming from that. Was what you were saying, Leanne. So, but you all have, when you don't have this huge book of business behind you yet, and you can talk about, how we have, an extremely high ratio of selling our own listings. You can talk about how we have one of the highest units per agent count in the city, so that the amount of units sold by KW agents compared to other agents in Nova Scotia, period, is amongst the highest, if not the highest. So it's not about, it's fine to say, an office has X amount of units, but do they have a bazillion agents? Like, we don't have those lost numbers here. You can talk about your app that you have, your free app. You can talk about the training you have access to. There's a whole bunch of things that you can use as part of your value proposition. As you build your individual businesses, it will morph into much more of an organic thing between things you personally start to do for your clients and things that are blended with KW systems, because it just sort of organically grows. But when you're newer and you're trying to say to a friend, hire me, and they're thinking, yeah, I used to drink in the bar with you. I don't really know if I want to trust you with my house. That's a hard one. Or you know them from sports, or you know them from, I don't know, depending on who, there could be people you babysat their children. So how do you establish yourself? And I think, talking about, mentorship and access to, access to, other people and other experts that, you may not be a new construction expert, but my gracious, do we have a pile of them in this office, between, the two Larrys and, Brenda Kay and Shelley, just to name a few of people that you could call. And, of course, we've also got Jerry and Annette, of people that you could call, and they would help you in a second. So you don't have to be the expert at everything. You have access to that knowledge at KW, which making a statement like that doesn't breach your designated agency rules or anything, because you're having, general conversations. But those are the types of things that when you're building your business plan and you're starting to do your self-promotion, which is the next piece here, you really have to have an idea of what it is that you do that makes you special. What is your commitment? What is your goal for your clients? There's an old sales technique, I think it came from Dale Carnegie, but you've all heard this at some point. It's called your elevator speech. And the idea is that you jump on an elevator with someone and you have, 30 to 60 seconds to let them know what you do, or you're standing behind them in line at the grocery store, you run into someone, and, how do you describe what you do? And that there's no script for that. You can come up with it. There are scripts, but they tend to be a little bit cheesy, to be perfectly honest with you. So it's really finding out, whatever it is. Maybe you help people, you know, realize their financial goals through real estate. I don't know. There's a bunch of different ones that you can do. The idea being that you can very quickly, based on the situation, sort of sum up some of the reasons why they should follow up with you. As much as it's a speech, a lot of times it's often little tidbits. So someone might say something, well, I'm renting and I'm thinking of buying, and you might say something like, have you ever sat with anybody and figured out, what your, wants and needs are, or, how much you can actually afford versus what the bank might pre-approve you for. And they might go, what? Well, what do you mean? There's a difference? And you go, oh my goodness, yes, I'd love to sit down with you and help you. Like, there's whatever your systems are, or the systems of the mentor you're working with or the team you're working with, there's ways to do it. There's tons of stuff in KW. But the idea is to start getting a feel for how you're going to start promoting yourself. Anybody have anything they want to add to the concept of self-promotion?
Well, if we don't promote ourselves, who the hell is going to, right?
That is perfect.
You know what I mean?
Yep. There's so think about the fact that there's currently 1,620 realtors in this province. I would say, and I don't have a firm statistic on this, but my gut would say that probably 70 to 80% of those agents would be what I would call a secret agent, where nobody actually knows they're a realtor. Please don't be secret agents. I'm also
Undercover.
not suggesting that you run around and attack everybody you meet, in the first 5 seconds, shoving real estate down their throat, because that's not particularly popular either. But there is a happy medium between stalking and engaging your clients. Kelly has done a fantastic job with her Facebook. She put out a challenge actually to her clients to get her page to a certain number of likes, and you could see the momentum happening, and other people were sharing it to help her get there. Anybody that knows Kelly knows she's not a secret agent, but ha ha ha, I'm picking on you, Kelly. But that was something that she did. I mean, social media is only
I'm not
one
a
way.
wallflower yet?
No.
And I'm in tomorrow.
You and Kim together. So
We used to work together.
yeah, I'm going to move on from that because there's.
Yeah, and we both talk to trees.
Yeah. So understanding the importance of having a pool of clients and client prospects, and the ability to engage in self-promotion. So that's number 5 and number 6 in your competencies in this section. So when we're talking about self-promotion, social media is a tool, of course, that we didn't have for those of us that have been around doing this for a while, or if you were in any other business before. And what it's allowing you guys to do is to promote yourself in a manner that is expanding beyond geographic boundaries, such as postal codes when we used to have to mail stuff out, and as the only way to get your name out, or bus benches or things of that nature. You're able to share through relationships versus just I've picked a postal code and I'm targeting an area. It's not to say that that doesn't work. I don't mean that in any way. It's just it's a new medium, and of course the cost is phenomenal, being that there's none compared to some of the more traditional methods of self-promotion. Remembering, of course, that as your broker, your Facebook pages and your marketing and your postcards and your websites need to be approved, and you all know that, so we're going to move on from that. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about is I call it tunnel vision with new agents in particular. And if there's one word that I can teach you about prospecting or business development or client development or whatever fancy word you want to use for it, is a 4-letter word, and it's not the 4-letter word you're thinking of. It's next. Next. You've met with this person, they're a new buyer, they're going to do something, it's going to be in January, so you have them in the pipeline, so who's next? Who's next? What often happens with new agents is they get very focused on the one client or the one lead or the one prospect that they're currently working in, and they are like micro lasered on that particular individual and that particular transaction. So let's say it's a buyer and you're focused and you're spending all this time researching and looking and shopping, and then you finally get the deal done and you come up for air and realize there's nobody else in that funnel, in that pipeline, in that whatever you want to call it. And it's because as you get more established in your business, your ability to juggle multiple clients at the same time obviously increases, but everybody gets focused on the one and they're not working on the next. Number one way that you can control your business is to have a ton of people that are in the pipeline, because they're all going to be ready at different times, or things happen in their life. I have a client who thought they were going to be buying in December, so your brain kind of goes, yay, I'm going to have money for Christmas. And then they're like, well, I didn't rent out my place in time, so now I'm thinking maybe like March. And you're like, okay, so who's next? They're not gone. They're not going to work with you, but who's next in the meantime? Has anybody ever had that happen?
Oh yeah. Especially in the beginning when you're so nervous and you don't know what the hell you're doing, and you hope you're doing the best job you can, and it's your friend and it's the first sales, like holy shit, and I don't want to do anything wrong. I can't focus on anybody else because my mind's just too expanded. I'm just excited. I got this listing. It's like, holy shit, what do I do now?
Yes.
That was at the beginning.
Now she only does it a little tiny bit, but it is really, next. Like that is, if you're working with a coach or you're working with a partner, have intro conversations with people, even if they say they're not ready, says Matthew. And that's fantastic because you know what? Life happens, and sometimes people are ready sooner than you expect, and sometimes they're ready way later, or they're never ready. And or they choose someone else, and you were like, I can't believe they chose someone else. I was positive I was getting that listing. But if you have nobody else that you are working with at the same time, then it tends to create that like that squiggly line of business with high peaks and low valleys of activity level versus sort of this more consistent. And that's where having a plan, a marketing plan. So we talked about business plans the last few sessions. So the other piece of it is having what's called a marketing plan. So anybody that was at our business planning session, we gave the handouts for that and talked quite a bit about that. We are going to do another business planning day in January. For those of you that weren't able to attend the December one. I think it went well, but that's my own opinion because, of course, I was teaching it. Ha, ha, ha. But we tried to do more than just numbers. We tried to talk about how to actually get stuff done. But in the marketing plan that was provided, it talked about, daily, weekly, and monthly activities for your marketing and prospecting. And the idea with that was to be very realistic about it, about what you're actually going to do or not going to do, and setting those targets. So it might be that you're going to post something on social media 3 times a week. It might be that you're going to attend one networking event once a month. So what it does is helps you keep track of it and not lose time into that morphing thing that happens where you go, oh my goodness, it's December, how did that happen? And have I actually accomplished the things I want? It helps create that consistency and that on-the-job competency because you start to do things on a more regular basis. So I can have those sent out to you guys as well as this competency list. Okay. So when we're looking at the funnel, the idea is when it says analyzes and selects prospecting methods based on knowledge of available methods and ability to assess qualities, resources, and skills required. That is another gigantically wordy paragraph. So in my opinion, the goal here, and I would say one of the mistakes that we all make in this business, is we try to do too many things at once. And we don't ever really necessarily finish any of them or do them really well before we add the next one. Is that a fair statement?
Maybe.
Maybe. So let's use an example. If you've decided you're going to do a social media campaign, are you doing it regularly, consistently? Are you decided you want to be the agent who has great communication and regular follow-up with their clients, so you're going to send out a thank you card or an anniversary card or a birthday card to your clients. So here's a suggestion or a tip that you can use. For example, when you write a deal with a client, you get their FinTrack, so you know when their birthday is. So you could have a file folder in your filing cabinet with every month, and you could pre-write your birthday cards when you do the deal and stick it in that month's thing, so that then at the beginning of that month, you pull out those envelopes and you mail them in an appropriate time, instead of trying to remember to do it later, because most of us never remember to do it later. You might have Matthew said Leanne says, a bottle of champagne on her anniversary. Oh, that is fabulous. You might, for example, Matthew has a follow-up system, he said, there for a survey following up with clients. So maybe you mail something out, maybe it's an email, I don't know. Let's say it's a thank you card or a follow-up, or I hope everything's great with your house, or here's your winter tips, or whatever. You could have this stuff pre-done, as I say, in some kind of a file folder for the months, pre-done, ready to go while you're in the middle of the deal and it's fresh and you have all this information about your clients. It's little things that people write down and make notes of, and now it's so easy to do, of course, with our phones. It's just doing it that's the hard part, about names of kids and dogs and pets and where do they work and what do they do, and all that kind of stuff. That Matthew, can he be your client, Leanne? That it's all really fresh in your memory when you're doing the deal, and then you're sitting there 4 months later going, oh my God, okay, what was their kid's name? Oh my goodness, because you want to write the card to, Mary and Bob and Susie and Billy or whatever, right? But you can't remember. So then you're taking time to go stalk them on Facebook and try and see if you can see the names of the kids. But it's all really fresh when you're in the middle of the deal. So those are just little ideas to, help you. We talked about the idea that I got at NAR on using Facebook as a method for creating those personal touches with your clients. So not just liking and commenting on something online, but somebody gets a new job and they post it on Facebook, and you might like it on Facebook, but then you take the 2 minutes to write them a personal card congratulating them and how you're so excited for them and they're going to be awesome, and throwing that in the mail. The power of those little pieces are phenomenal. So you might have Leanne, a bunch of wine, she's living Christmas cards, her new KW calendar, fantastic. So you might do something where you keep track of those things and you have them ready to go, and you follow up, and you build into your marketing time that you're going to do 5 handwritten cards a week. So you take half an hour and you go on Facebook and you look through your people, and I'm sure there's enough content in there for you to write 5 personal cards a week. Those are simple things that are in a marketing plan. People get caught up in self-promotion and thinking, oh, I need to take out an ad, and I need to do this, I need a fancy website, and I need all this big stuff. And if you think about the memorable customer service experiences you've had, or the memorable professionals you've worked with that you would send your people to time and time again, it was probably something simple and little and personal that they did for you, that they remembered, that impressed you or surprised you. And that's the strongest thing that I can tell you for self-promotion. Don't put your business card in it every single time you send them a note. That's weird. Takes away the value of it. You're so-and-so at KW. That's a great note, Kim. She says she thanks their other realtors for selling their listings on Facebook. That shows you as being, kind and generous and collaborative, which is also important. But when we're talking about self-promotion and good client prospects and using prospecting methods and all of these items that are, in these top competencies, 99% of these can be accomplished by spending less than $50 a month. Most of that would probably be in postage or dropping off a little thing, or somebody's ill, or sending an anniversary card, and Leanne's budget might be a little higher because she's bringing champagne. But a lot of the time as new realtors, so much time is spent doing what I call getting ready to get ready, and there's less doing. Okay, is that fair? Does that make sense to people?
Yeah. Especially in the beginning, I found us kind of like the hokey pokey. You put your left foot in, you take it out, like, oh God, what am I doing? You know what I mean?
Right. And a lot of times, like, we think we need to know everything. We think we need to have it all right. We think we need to have the perfect system. You don't.
No.
Because what you don't know, somebody in this company knows. Period.
That's a great thing, and with this company, I'll tell you, I've been in sales. I was at Xerox, at the same thing. It was the best thing is that it was team-based and everybody helps each other. And it's especially great for us newbies, right?
Well, and that's the goal. And what I am always impressed with is that, we've had some very mega producers in this company on a Canadian level.
Yeah.
Who are just as happy to share everything they have with every single agent here, with no sense of being threatened or competition, and it really does make a difference. So you need to be comfortable as a new agent starting whatever it is you're going to start, sending cards, writing this, self-promoting, doing whatever, to know that if you don't know and you reach out, somebody will be able to help you. And I'm hoping that you guys retain that so that you will be less hesitant to start and knowing that it will evolve as you go. As your business builds, as you create your systems and your value proposition, it gets easier to self-promote because you know you do X and not everybody else does Y. So Kim says, and if you're unsure, ask someone. So when we're looking at self-promotion, when we're looking at having a pool of clients and client prospects, the main thing when we're looking at now is, you've done your business plan, you're set up, you're registered with KW Systems, you're ready to go, that you are looking for that 4-letter word, which is the next, so that you're building people up in the group, and that you're focusing on the simple things and not afraid to get started, is what I'd really like you guys to try. Your individual services and your individual care that you take of your clients, when you add that follow-up and that compassion by sending a note or engaging with them. People want to be engaged with now. As much as we're in this insane technological world, it's actually a strive for more connections, not less. But sometimes the simple things take you much further. They cost you very little, but they have an incredibly high rate of return. And as a new agent, well, and any agent, because it's not exactly the most boom market we've been in the last little while, so even established agents, the simpler things you do will have the highest rate of return. And that's the other piece of having a marketing plan, is because then you actually can monitor what you're doing, and you can measure their effectiveness. When we're sort of floating from thing to thing and jumping around like a Mexican jumping bean, I'm going to do this now, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to try this, and I'm going to go do this. Oh, so-and-so told me to do this, so I'm going to go over here. And we don't do any one of them on a consistent basis, and we don't have a plan, then we don't really know whether any one of them has worked. Is that also fair? I have no responses. I'm going to go with yes. So in this section, it's really about hammering it down. This is the perfect time of year in December when it is a little bit slower, because as we talked about, as about the 15th of December, you're probably not going to do a ton of prospecting. The agent tours will stop, less and less open houses because people are decorated for Christmas, etc., and want that family time. But this is when sitting down and working on your business will establish your patterns and your calendar and your activities and your plan for January. So having a marketing plan, having a business plan, and I realize all of this sounds very not interesting and time-consuming and tedious, but it is something you can do with someone else. You can do it with a peer. You can make a plan. You can create an accountability partner, and you can set that activity level. I am happy to help any one of you at any time to review something you've drafted or work on your business plans with you. Linda will also work on them with you and help you and encourage you and challenge you with respect to numbers and planning. I give you some suggestions, and sometimes it's reality checks on marketing plans in the sense of, are you actually going to be able to do all of these things? When is your time off? How does this fit in the calendar? And looking at it based on your budget and your skills and your geography and where you're at. And that's really what this time of year is about, is being able to launch January 2nd with a specific targeted plan. Kim, I'm terrible at taking time off. Need to smarten up on that. Well, I can give you guys, and I don't know if I've told you this story before or not, but I will tell you. I apologize for those of you that have heard it before. But anybody that has known me for several years will know that I might be a little bit of a workaholic. And for a very long time, I had a very upside down balance in my life. And on many occasions worked, I don't even know how many hours a week. And several years ago, I don't know if it's even several, this is Leanne, if you want to increase your business plan vacation, it's completely true. I actually worked myself to the point where I collapsed because that was, a really brilliant activity. So I'm trying to share with you stuff based on, my own failings that I've accomplished personally and gotten over. So, I actually passed out from exhaustion from having, taken on too much and, balancing life and family and children and, all of these other things that we have outside of this career. And I hadn't taken a vacation in I don't know how long and wasn't taking regular time off. And if I had a client Tuesday, but then if I had another client that wanted to see me Wednesday, I would probably sacrifice not family time, but I would sacrifice, something personal. I was going to go to the gym that day, or I was going to go, I don't know, whatever. I would always bump it. And I learned the hard way that I needed to balance that. And I needed to plan my time. So if I work Tuesday nights now, I don't work Wednesday nights, I'll work Thursday nights so that I have that break in between. And I rotated it on a every other week basis. So I work Monday, Wednesday, weeks 1 and 3, or Tuesday, Thursday, weeks 2 and 4. And that way clients always had an option of different nights, right? So there's different things that you can do, but I can tell you from having not worked with a plan for many years that it does take a toll. And I would really love for all of you to not do what I did, not work yourself to the point where you feel like your business is running you, where you're not controlling your appointments and you're not controlling your time. I learned the really hard way to do it, and I knew better. It wasn't about not knowing better. It was about having a plan and sticking with it, and then getting the other people in your life on board with it. And that's one of the other things, is having that plan for your marketing or your activity or prospecting, that you're going to attend X business session once a month or go to a certain networking group, and maybe it's really early in the morning, and maybe it requires you to have a different plan with a spouse about kids or getting them wherever. And when you engage your friends and family in this role, it has a different power. It's easier to commit to. You bounce around less like a jumping bean. You're more consistent. You attend the things, and you get the follow-up. You send the card. You do the thing. You thank them on Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. So that's my please don't ever do what I did message for you. So when we're looking at the competencies out of this module and building building your client base, really, there's more. There's a lot more competencies in here, but we're not going to do them all today. Really, the main piece that I wanted to cover with you guys today is based on some of the simple things you can do, being ready to do your business even when you don't know everything, remembering you have the support and the strength of 110 or more agents who will assist you, focusing on the simple things, not needing to do big money items to start your business, engaging yourself and talking to other people, sending the card, wear your pin upside down, share an idea with your peers on what they're doing to reach successes. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to contribute?
I know when I first started, Anne, I used to tell them about my previous job experience with Xerox. I was there 14 years, and nobody teaches you better sales than Xerox, I'll tell you that. And, well, you guys are pretty close. It's pretty much the same now with you guys, but I'll tell you, that carried me a long way, because sales is sales. You know what I mean? This is a little different, however, but that helped a lot in my strength. And I tell people, we have a team-based environment based on profit sharing. People make money off each other when we do it. And I explained it all. And I said, do you not think that would be an incentive for you at your place of work if you had that? Right. So that's why we help each other.
Right. And honestly, because we also want to actually also help each other, just as an aside. It's not entirely profit share based, just for the record for everybody.
Well, I'm not feeling well, so that's as good as it gets today. But yeah.
Oh, Janice is fabulous. What a lovely message. So, one of the things that I want you guys to take from today is that when you're looking at your business, we talk about a business plan, but we don't talk about a marketing and business development plan. We talk about the money. Now, when we did the business planning course, it was maybe only 25% money. The other 75% was about business development and planning. But that's the other piece. And unfortunately, in real estate, if you remember, we talked about previously how you become a realtor, and then it's like, okay, now what do I do? well, congratulations, but what do I do all day? I don't know what to do. This is where the marketing plan and the business plan come together, because it gives you your tasks for the day. It gives you your direction, and it gives you the ability to monitor your activities so you don't waste a great deal of time and months being unprofitable, not having clients, not having buyers, not having sellers, because you have no ability to evaluate what you're actually doing and what is working and what's not working. So if anybody wants help with that, please reach out to me. You have too much to do. If anybody wants help with those, I'm happy to help anybody. I can set up an appointment with you and we can go through them. So thank you guys. I'm going to leave you with that for today, and we will chat again either at the Christmas party, or our next session will not be until January. So have a wonderful day. Kim, if you can take attendance for me and send that to me, that would be greatly appreciated. And everybody have a wonderful day.
Yeah, Ann, I need to talk to you about somebody requesting something for my latest sale. Do you have a minute?
Yeah, call me back after.
All right.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.